Good evening, dear friends. On behalf of the International Environment Congress Association, I welcome you all to this first lecture, that is the Environment Day Lecture 2025, which is going to be presented by Professor Santanu Das from the IIT BHU Varanasi. He is an associate professor in the Department of Ceramic Engineering. First of all, let me welcome you all to this gathering. Hope most of you, those who are available in both the platforms, it's audible for you and things are fine. And as a formal introduction of the speaker, he is one of the distinguished members of our association. Dr. Santanu Das is an associate professor in the Department of Ceramic Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, BHU Varanasi. He served as assistant professor in the same department from 2016 to 2024. Before joining IIT BHU, he worked as scientist at the Department of Material Science and Engineering, University of North Texas, USA. Dr. Das did his PhD from Florida International University, USA in Material Science and Engineering. His master's from IIT BHU in Ceramic Engineering. At IIT BHU, he was instrumental in developing various teaching and laboratory courses and also established a research laboratory for nanomaterials and nanotechnology, thin films for electronic and energy devices. His research is actively involved in synthesis, characterizations, and engineering of various functional nanostructures, thin films, including 2D graphene, 2D transition metal, dichalcogenides, nanocomposites, quantum dots, nanohybrids, nanoscale heterostructures, etc. He is part of many projects as principal investigator and co-principal investigator. He is one of the leading PAs of an international hydrogen consortium project from the Research Council of Norway. He is a recipient of numerous awards: National Petrochemical Award, Outstanding PhD Dissertation Award, American Society MC Care Award, Early Career Awards, MOE Stars Awards, etc. He is also the fellow of IIT of Ceramics, Indian Institute of Ceramics, fellow of Indian Chemical Society, Royal Society of Chemistry, MRSC, IEEE senior member, etc. He holds 12 patents, 2 US, 8 Indian. His height index 36, height index 86. Summarizing, Dr. Das' scientific contribution has been recognized by several national and international awards, research partners of several international consortiums, fellowships, memberships of national and international scientific societies, academies. He is also the editorial board member of several journals, both national and international, and member of several award committees. Dear friends, we are glad to have him in our midst. He will present something out of subject, but when I requested, he accepted with open heart. I thank him for his acceptance. Now the stage is yours. Hope you can share your screen. I'll stop my screen and my words. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so it was a very, very nice introduction, Dr. Mon. So I'm trying to understand. So our audience is mostly student and faculties, right? And also some other peoples are there. I don't know, like
Most
who are
of them
the
are
audience.
academicians,
So most of them are academicians, like students,
staff,
staff,
less
faculties, right?
less students, more stuff.
More staff.
Yeah,
So most of them are faculties or staff.
yeah.
Okay. So very good evening, everybody, and hope you all are well. So already Dr. Mon gave a very good introduction of mine, and I don't know whether I deserve all those things or not. So here the challenge is what he gave me to deliver a lecture on role of academicians towards environment care. And here I'm gonna from this Society Environment Congress, the Society's Environment Congress, right? if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So myself, Shantanu, I'm associate professor here at IIT BHU since 2016, and this is overall my campus, my department, my institute, city where I belong to, and this kind of a proper Baba Vishwanath Nagari, and a 3,000 years old city, 2,100-acre campus, and a 100 years old heritage department. So I'm witnessing these things as a human being on this earth. So I feel very proud. Now the concept. So let's have an introduction. So here is my research group. Those who are basically we are working all together. My students, me, postdoc, and we all are having fun for our research group activities. And regarding today's talk, that role of academicians towards environment care, and it's really out of the topic for me, and I'm trying to gist some of the message to the audience. Let's see whether audience would accept or not. So so basically, academicians are the primary or key persons to take the entire responsibility of environment care apart from the other. Now, who is the academicians and what is the role of academicians towards environment care? So typically, academicians are basically teaching, they are doing research, they do outreach, as well as they do policy making. So typically, this role of academicians towards environment care are really, really huge. So starting from the teaching, basically, academician can take a lead in environmental education. Academician can lead in sustainable technology development. That's basically research. Academicians are basically person who can lead in community engagement. I'll explain each and every section one by one later on. And then academicians are the key persons who can advocacy the advice, or they are the policymakers sometimes. So let's start with couple of introduction, and let's go a little more detail. Question is why environmental care matters more than ever. So that all of we realize, like on this earth, we are existing, and our existence are absolutely connected with the environment and nature. So why it is so? The reason is if environment are not like we get each and every resources from this environment, which is literally free, but how to make it our priority and how to make that environment on our targeted goal, that is the primary introduction that I want to give, why environmental care matters. So it does matters because the environment basically give you to live long on this earth. So first is healthy environment, second is security to all the existence, and then third is preservation of nature. Now, role of education and knowledge dissemination is typically very important in order to have these three. So we are lucky to have this healthy environment, security to all the existence, and preservation of nature. These three things are basically this is basically a role of education and knowledge dissemination. Basically, play a key role in maintaining these three things. Now, being an academician, I must say the influence of academia on society and policy obviously matter. However, what is these things? Let's move on one by one. So, first is what is the key responsibility of an academician? what do academicians basically do? So definitely academicians are involved in teaching and transferring of knowledge. Obviously, education, the next generation on sustainability. So somebody can ask me a question like, is it something that educating the existing generation for sustainability? That's a kind of thing that is going on. But educating the next generation is important because what we are doing right now is basically affected to the next generation. Now, if there is any kind of environmental issues that are being created due to the activity of our own action or legacy, then our next generation will definitely be victim of it. Agree, right? Now, educating means it's not just sending some information to the generation. It is something to give them a vibe, give them an idea, give them to develop some new knowledge or new kind of activities that they can adapt to take care of sustainable environment. Obviously, academicians' responsibilities to conducting impactful environmental research. Obviously, academician must do some research, whether it is laboratory work or it is theoretical work. Doesn't matter whether it is laboratory work or it is some sort of survey work. Doesn't matter. But conducting impactful environmental research is a key responsibility of an academician. Obviously, advocating for eco-conscious policies, that's also an academician's role. So things will slowly comes on this pattern one by one. And practicing and promoting green campus initiatives. So that's the one of the most key things that I'll stress up a little bit in next few slides. So let's see. So before that, we know what is educating of the next generation of sustainable things by conducting some impactful environmental research. So what kind of research will be impactful? And conducting impactful environmental research means what? So definitely, all of most of the academicians nowadays are involved in working on sustainable environmental technology or materials. Now, what is this basically? What do you mean by sustainable? Thing is, like for example, if you have an water body inside your campus, and after your entire period of your stay in the campus, if your water body has been polluted, so that means none of your faculties in the campus are taking care of your environment. So they're basically ignoring it. So sustainable environmental technology basically consists of a few things. The most important is clean and renewable energy. Being a lots of air pollutions and so many other things, carbon dioxide, and then so many international policies are coming for a long time, but end of the day, we always required clean and renewable energy. Why? The first thing is energy. Why we need energy? To keep our life move on. Okay. Without energy, we cannot move on. So our sustainability, our human sustainability are obviously dependent on energy. Now, whether that energy is renewable or non-renewable, that we have to decide. So energy is one of the key things, and then from there you can see the different type of solutions for natural resource depletion. For example, the one example I gave, like your water body has been polluted, means your natural resources is basically gone, going, it's just basically destroyed. So now you must have, being an academician, you must have a solutions for your natural resource. Waste to energy conversion is one of the important thing, which basically include the waste disposal. So disposal is one of the important, because human being are the responsible of generating a lot of waste per day. Every one of we are generating a lot of waste, and how to recycle those. So that's the one of the important. minimization of greenhouse emission and other effect of climate change, sustainable material development for cleanup of toxic contaminants, different type of fertilizer, biofertilizer, and green manures for sustainable agriculture and food safety is required. Recovery of metal and other beneficial product. So that's one of the most important thing. Is basically nowadays is been focused very strongly to implement the circular economy on the society. It is not only the sustainable environment, but it is also a circular economy has to be implemented. So I'll explain a little more circular economy later on. But by the way, I'm continuously stalking. Is there any person who can give us some idea or ready to interact? What is circular economy? Can I ask some question? Is there anyone who can give us what is circular economy? Yeah,
Anyone can give your answers, please.
yeah. Is there anyone try to give us some idea? So in this way, actually, I can interact as well as our presentation will be a little more interesting. Anyway, if somebody is not here, so let's move on. So solid waste, e-waste management, environmental policy framework. Nowadays, artificial intelligence and machine learning basically used in different type of environmental monitoring, which is typically very important. And specifically, the another part that I have not stressed upon is basically called the resource management. So resource management is obviously a very important part of this thing. So one by one will come. So advocating for eco-conscious policies. So what is that advocating of eco-conscious policies? So the first thing is education and awareness. Now imagine being a campus, being an educationist, you can teach your student only the theory and context and information of your subject without having an awareness. Awareness means why not to waste water, why not to cut a tree rather putting more tree on the earth, why not to dispose your chemical properly. So these all things call awareness. So if you are continuously allowing your student or your guest to use the plastic inside your campus, so definitely there is some sort of activity need to be start to stop plastic in your campus. Reason is the awareness is very low. So education and awareness is one of the most important part where continued learning is essential. Now, I must say these kind of things I am not saying any stage, I'm talking about this kind of things need to be implemented from the school level to any of the education level, even up to PhD level. I am not at all stressing up that you must have to teach this in your BSc and MSc. Education and awareness doesn't mean that. Education and awareness means each and every stage of your society and community. Although we are talking about your college or our campus, but still, this education and awareness has a very wide meaning. Now, concerning our news media, if they're basically if they're basically spreading some sort of sustainable message via different kind of advertisement or design different kind of society, so that's basically they are contributing to improving the awareness of the society. And that's what it's not only the role of a media or channel or any kind of things, it's also a role of an educationist as well. Now, this awareness basically gives us some small things to avoid, and that's what achievable things will be sustainable living. So sustainable living has a very big word, basically something which basically improve our life quality. So that's what we will get the less bacteria from our outside. So that's what we will be very less susceptible to become sick soon. So repeatedly we have to keep our living sustainable. So our environment supposed to be keep clean. Renewable energy is one of the most promising way to stop pollution. So the most important part of environment is basically the earth, air, water, and all these the surroundings. So the first is basically the air. See, if air get polluted, then our sustainability has a big challenge. So our policy and advocacy must have to change. So every time we got some sort of news that there is a lot of pollution in India, lot of emission in India, and carbon dioxide increase in the air. These all basically producing these all basically producing the carbon dioxide. All this producing the toxic things in the air. So conservation and reforestation, restoration is also important, including these all things. Now, next is environmental education in curriculum. So obviously, being an academician, our responsibility to change our curriculum towards a sustainable things, such that we must include the environmental education in the curriculum. So integrating sustainability into core and elective courses, different type of courses that we use, and this and then interdisciplinary teaching is also required. It is not a chemistry teacher is basically teaching only chemistry. They are also responsible to teaching some sort of sustainable chemical things which basically contribute to the cleanliness of the society. Combining different types of science, engineering, social responsibility. For example, a teacher is teaching renewable energy. So now it's not a renewable energy is a course. It's supposed to be a course along with different types of scientific theories, and also promote the technology development as well as a social awareness that why renewable engineering or technology is important for our society. So that key message that we have to give to the student. The student project also need to be focused on local environmental challenges, and that's what different type of domain changes: the social domain, economical domain, environmental domain, cultural domain, and obviously political domain too. Research innovation obviously play a key role, specifically developing clean technology like green hydrogen technology, solar material. So we are in our research group are typically involved in green hydrogen and solar materials development as well. So we are already contributing to the sustainable technology. Also promoting circular economy model. So what is circular economy? Typically, circular economy basically state like when having some starting material, you must have to come back on that material. Whatever technology you develop, that's supposed not to generate a waste or any kind of landfill. So that's basically the target of promoting circular economy. Now, if you are producing a stainless steel, and end of the day, if that steel is not recyclable, this basically you are what you are doing. You are basically doing landfill, and that's what plastics are extraordinarily concerning at this moment, because a recent news says India is one of the topmost plastic producing or plastic contaminating country, because recycling that plastic is extremely challenging, and some thickness cannot be recycled. They basically do the landfilling. So that's is absolutely zero circular economy model. So that's what the plastic is one of the most worst non-sustainable material on this earth. Now, environmental monitoring tools and different type of sensors are also important. Let's go circular economy. So circular economy basically wherever you are investing, whether it's an infrastructure or so, basically you have to encourage recycling. So your process, your product, your material, whatever you are developing, end of the day, after use, that's supposed to be 100% recyclable or consumed on the process, and that's basically producing collection and processing, production and purchasing, and then consumption of use. These three model basically producing economy which is called circular economy. Most of the world is now focusing on circular economy such that they can reduce less amount of waste. Now, environmental monitoring is one of the key things. Like environmental monitoring give you several idea. For example, this is an example. This is not something like I got it some of the recent research paper. So from cloud you get a smart aqua sensor, and then different aqua sensor basically give you monitoring the health of the water body around you, whether it is contaminant, whether the different type of different of the water species are under challenge, they are having some sort of problem. So what is why clean water is required? Everyone of you knows this. And then this aqua sensor can create a environment which is typically very sustainable for even for the society, a campus, and also they are very good to for different type of forestation or soil health. So that's what it is also important. So end of the day, what we need something which is basically a very clean and healthy. Now how to have this? So there is a concept nowadays are moving around, is called campus as a living lab. So if you are developing a sustainable lab, so how your campus can be absolutely on a lab. So energy efficient infrastructure is important. Waste segregation and composting is another important thing. Water conservation practices, student-led green initiative, and obviously one of the most important part that we ignore most is chemical disposal. So chemical disposal is one of the very serious issue on campus, since most of the researchers are ignorant to that, specifically students. Due to the lack of awareness, they basically dispose the chemical. They think since chemical is not harming them, so that means the chemical is typically safe. So most of the chemical harm to the nature in a many different manners. It is not only the effect, they also helping spreading some sort of disease, some sort of skin disease. Also they destroyed the soil quality, soil productivity, soil fertility, as well as they basically destroyed our greeneries. So chemical disposal is one of the very important part to being a sustainable campus. Now the another part is how to do this. Is teaching to a group of students is enough to get a sustainable campus, a sustainable society? Yes, but it is not 100%. Means I'm trying to say it's partially. You have to have engage your community. Now your community is persons. The entire society means your community is not only the student in your campus, as well as your staff, all the person outside of your campus, including school students, children. If you are not imparting any kind of knowledge and awareness to a child, that what is air quality, how a air quality can help to 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 contribute to a healthy living. If you are not letting this understand to a school student, so basically awareness are not having on a certain stage. So it has to start from the basic level. Your community means everyone surrounding you, so you need to talk to them, everyone, such that the awareness should increases. And then obviously you have to make some rule as well. So recently I just came back from Bangalore, and I saw everywhere there is 3 to 4 types of boxes are around with a different color of red, green, yellow, and they have a different type of waste to be separated such that they can recycle it so easily. So that's what something like a person who is not part of your society, who who even goes there, can understand, hey, this society are completely contributing to the recycling. So whether it is food, whether it's a plastic, whether it's a paper, doesn't matter. Obviously different type of collaborations with different local bodies, local schools, small schools. So the below the right hand corner, there is a school, is been this image of a school has been taken from a Japan, where it shows that ground level in Japanese school teaching their students, like, they are all very, very small child, right? You can see. So all of them are basically trying to understand what is nature, what is the benefit of putting tree on the earth. So all these things they are having awareness. So these things has to start. Different type of policy advisory role matters along with participation in government advisory panels. Now all of we cannot be a part of government advisory panels, but definitely we can create some awareness. Nowadays social media is there where you can create an awareness such that an advisory person at least got that information, like, okay, we need a sustainable society for the humankind. White paper position statement supporting implementation of national missions. So those things are, regulatory. Now role of a global collaboration is also important, working with an international partners, different type of climate and energy challenges, promoting Indo global academic cooperation, participation in global programs. So those all are role in global collaborations in this sustainable society development. Now these things to be implemented only and can be implemented only if you have developed a personal and certain level of institutional ethics. Now an institute is basically comprised of their vice chancellor, chancellor, director, head of the department, faculty, staff, and even the cleaner staff, students, everyone. So these all basically together develop an institutional ethics. One institutional ethics need to be developed and has to be taken a oath by everyone, and that's what is basically leading an example of in personal choices. Sometimes it's fostering a cultural of sustainability in academic institution, recognizing the reward of eco-conscious research and teaching. So society also, institutional ethics has need to be built, and also identify the challenges and that way forward. How do you identify the challenges? So for example, being an institute, a campus, it is basically academicians responsibility to identify what are the challenges of this campus, what is the challenges of the nearby society, bridging the research and real world implementation, need for interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary collaborations. So these all are very, very important. End of the day, our goal is to develop a sustainable society. So as a summary or conclusion, I suppose not to conclude here anymore because it's basically a subject very vast and very wide. So in conclusion, basically academicians are the environmental stewards. They are basically can do anything through the teaching, research, and leadership. They can drive real challenge, and there must have a tagline that I must need to implement today. Is called "Think globally, act locally, start from the classroom." So that's supposed to be a tagline for every of the academicians nowadays. That think globally, act locally, and start from the classroom, and that's basically towards a sustainable development. Doesn't matter whether it's your campus, your society, or your lab. So each and everything you have to focus. Well, I'm still working because of a lot of sustainable technologies we are developing. We're targeting national, international funding projects. I must acknowledge all these research funding agencies, my institute supporting a lot, all my students, my international collaborators, and and thanks for your attention. I enjoyed giving this talk, although it's not my subject area. So if you have any questions, I'll happy to answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now the session is open for discussion. Any of you, if you have any questions, you can just switch on your mics and speak, or you can post in the chat box also. Kindly make it fast. I really appreciate Professor Santanu Das for making this very session a nutshell one. It was really informative and highly thought provoking. And in spite of your very tight schedule and that today's academic meeting, the most important academic meeting, you have taken time and really have presented an excellent one.
Yeah, so it's our responsibility to do contribution on this way to the environment, at least if you can improve the awareness or something. But definitely I want to contribute, but nowadays, a lot of things, multiple assignment and so many things coming together. But I enjoyed learning these things, and obviously I must thank Dr. Moon. At least you invite me for this podium, so at least last 7 days I was learning those things from different sources, as reading. I was because there's no too much opportunity of teaching those kind of things, since it's an out of the box things subject. But it's always very very informative if we are giving talk or something. That's way we are learning as well. So I must thank you. No issue. If you have any question, I'll happy to answer. If you are not, then definitely I must say, okay, thank you so much for your.
Hope there is anyone you have questions, you can just post it, or we'll
There is a lot of chats. I cannot see the chat now. Now
no,
I can see.
actually those
Is there
chats
any
are
question? I don't know.
no questions, those
No
are
questions.
yeah, they are affiliations.
Yeah, affiliations. Great,
Yeah.
great. So no issue. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, you can get all my information. And I'm also writing my email ID in the chat box. You can directly ask me.
Sir, sir,
Yeah,
nice
go ahead.
presentation, sir. Nice presentation, sir.
Yeah, thank you so
It
much.
really, thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir, what about the e-waste management, sir? E-waste management.
E-waste.
Yeah, yeah, sir.
Yeah, so it's a one of the concern, no doubt about that. E-waste means when do we started our journey in E? We started our journey in E. E means electronic goods
Yes,
after
sir.
1999, right?
Yes, sir.
So last 25 years we have developed a lot.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the meaning of this development? This meaning of this development is those all electronic stuff which have been generated for last 25 years
Yes, sir.
already finished their own life, right? Every of the those electronic stuff has their own life. So they are basically doing the landfilling. Landfilling means one cell phone, one television, one television, one cell phone, one computer. Even you can see some of the ATM machines. So they have a huge amount of electronic parts. Now those electronic parts are no longer from the circular economy. You agree, right? Because they are doing the landfill. The moment the electronic stuff is been done, completed, so basically people throw it away on the earth, and they're basically piling up the waste. And now that
Whether the landfilling would not affect the agricultural field, sir. Landfilling technique.
yeah, so this kind of landfilling basically became huge nowadays,
Yes, sir.
because you
Yes, sir.
can imagine that ATM machine was started in ATM machine was been manufactured 10 years back. Now is basically a waste. Now what people do, people basically throw it away on the land, whatever the land is, but basically it's basically waste. Now a lot of electronic waste has a lot of different kind of metals which can leach out from the circuit and can create the natural contaminants on the soil and water and so many things. So that's what the e-waste generated. So e-waste is a new kind of waste that people have started concerning nowadays, that e-waste is extraordinarily important. Why e-waste is important? Because they basically has to recycle, and also e-waste has certain values. For example, plastic has no value. People basically recycle it to avoid it from the contaminate it to the society. or the environment. But e-waste has some sort of monetary value because a lot of precious metals is being used to manufacture those circuits, and that's what Japan, UK, and a lot of countries basically develop technologies where they basically extract those metals and can be reused. And one of the most recent example was last Olympic in Japan, where Japan gave all the gold, silver, and bronze medals basically extracted from e-waste. You guys also already know that. If you know this is good. Now, otherwise, it's a information that the last time our in Olympic, Japan basically gave all the medal from their e-waste recycling. So those kind of new things need to be implemented. Otherwise, it is very challenging to have such kind of things. So I think I have given the proper answer, whatever you are asking. So is it the one, Dr. Syed?
Sir, Dr. Syed, hope your answer is
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, okay, sir. Okay, okay, okay. Sir, feedback link is not opening, sir. Feedback link.
sir. Kindly wait. That okay.
Okay, 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 okay.
Any other questions, participants? Anyone else? So, dear participants, kindly wait for a minute for the feedback form if it is not opening. And as if there is no other questions, we'll move on to the formal vote of thanks. I thank Professor Santanu Das for that exciting session. It was really informative.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Mohan. I don't know whether it's exciting or not. Maybe
Yeah,
if our audience enjoyed it, then one of the most important thing, I learned a lot of things by last few days. I was reading those stuff. So maybe very new information. And thank you for inviting me on this podium. It's a good experience and giving talk and learning things, new things. And thank you so much for all this.
thank you, sir. Thank you for your presence and for that presentation, for sharing the information also. Of course, any information, when you read it the second time, it will be in a different, it will give you a different meaning. And
That's true.
yeah, and all those slides you posted were new to me, hopefully for most of the participants also.
Sir, if you
Anyway,
Yeah.
share slide, it will be useful to us, sir, please. Sir.
Yeah, maybe if there is someone very expert in environmentalist, then maybe he or she knows much better than me.
Thank you, sir.
actually, as academicians, everyone are concerned towards environment, but
Yes, yes.
everyone will have it in a different perspective.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah, yeah. So, sure, I'll request Professor to share the presentation and we'll share it in the group very soon.
Okay,
sure,
okay.
sure.
Thank you.
I'll send you over email by tonight. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, thank you, sir. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you, sir.
your
Thank
presence.
you, all of the audience. I have enjoyed a lot. Have a nice evening and have a nice weekend.
Thank you. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
So, dear participants, we are happy and honored to have been in this nutshell session which provoked our minds towards caring our environment. The knowledge gained here surely will give fruit in our upcoming semesters and in our academics. And, dear friends, one final word: take care of the earth, and she will take care of you. Waste not the smallest thing created, for grains of sand make mountains, and atom is infinity. The system of nature of which man is a part tends to be self balancing, self adjusting, self cleansing, but not so with technology. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, dear participants, for your presence here. Kindly wait for 2 minutes for the feedback, complete the feedback, and you can leave. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Dr. Moon, I'm leaving then. Thank you
Okay,
so
sir.
much.
Okay, okay,
And
okay.
thank you for inviting me here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Sir, again it asked request, sir.
Okay, I'll give the permission. Kindly wait.
Okay.